It is the first game of the Battle of Chess Masters, and now we have FM Callistus playing with the white pieces versus OKEMAKINDE playing with the black pieces. This is the first game, and the time control is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds. And now the move pawn to d4 comes in, and they had to check, confirm the DDC board. Now the move knight to f6. Now this is the best of 5 matches, and we are covering game 1. This is knight to c3. The knight comes out now, and the move pawn to d5 comes in. Now the best move here, and he plays the move bishop to f4, bringing the bishop out into the game. And now let's see what this game has in store for us. So this is the first game of the 5-game match between both players, and it's to see who is actually ready. And now the move pawn to e6 comes in, and now pawn to e3, developing the piece. The bishop now has space, and now the move pawn to c5. Black strikes in the center, and the best move here for white now is to play the move knight to b5 to jump into the square and also create lots of flexible positions here. So let's see what white goes for now. He reaches out and he plays the move knight to b5, and now the move knight to a6. And now the best move here according to the engines is pawn to c3 to bolster the center. And now he reaches out for the pawn and he plays it now, plays the move pawn to c3. Now there are several ideas here. One could be bringing the bishop out to d7 to try and castle, or to bring the bishop out to e7, attacking the bishop. There are so many ideas here for black, but let's see which one OKEMAKINDE decides to go for. He thinks for a bit, tries to calm down, and goes into the position, and he plays the second best move according to the engine, bishop to d7, now attacking the knight. And now the best move here now is to develop the knight now to f3, and let's see what comes in now. Knight to f3 to try and control more center squares, and also preparing the king to castle. So let's see what happens here. And now the knight comes into f3 and pawn to c4. Now the knight jumps in now to d6, giving a check, forcing black now to capture and capture. And now the best move now is to bring the knight now to e4, attacking the bishop here because it's controlling the dark squares that is forcing black not to castle. And he plays it now, the move knight to e4, and instantly brings the bishop back now to a3. So let's see what's going to happen now on this board. Both players are actually giving it their best here, and there could be several ideas here. One could be knight to c7, or he decides to play the move pawn to f6. The idea now is to bring the king over to this square and then bring the rook over so that the king can be well protected. Let's see what white has in store here now. A good idea here is knight to d2 according to the engines. So many ideas here to play for, and let's see what's just happening. Now both players are down to this first 1 minute 50 seconds, and let's see what each side has to play. And now the move knight to h4, threatening to bring the queen out and then collaborate with this deadly bishop along this diagonal. A good plan for black here will be to actually bring the knight to c7 and then use it to attack this bishop. But let's see, so many ideas on this board to play for. There is queen to c7 as well. So many ideas here to play for, and let's see which move stands out the most. Black goes for a deep think here. It's a game, a best of 5 matches, and both players, the hall is tense everywhere, stakes and the tension is really high. So let's see what black plays now. He runs down to his next 1 minute. He has 1 minute on his clock, and white has 1 minute 34 seconds. So let's see. After close to 45 seconds, he decides to play the move king to f7, bringing the king now, and then trying to bring the rook into the game, and then possibly strike in the center. So let's see which plan white goes for. Now he decides to bring his queen now to c2, A very useful plan. The tactic here could be to capture this pawn and so many other ideas as well. So he decides to bring the queen now, protecting the pawn and protecting other various ideas as well. So now the move bishop to e2 comes in play. The move rook h to d8 is a very powerful move here, bringing the rook over, but he decides to go aggressive now, playing the move pawn to g5. And now bishop to h5, double attacking on the counter attacking on this game. And now the move king to g7. Now white has the idea of coming back here, but there is also a dangerous move here. Knight to g6 is also a potential idea. So he plays the move pawn to f3 now. This gives him the chance to either play this later on, having so many ideas here in the position. And now the knight looks like it's trapped. A cool move here could be knight to g3, attacking this and this as well, and the pawn cannot capture as there are so many things to play for. So let's see what happens now. The knight jumps in now to d6, and now the knight jumps in now to g6, and now the bishop comes in, and now the rook is hanging. Will white capture it now? Both players are really on time pressure here. They are playing on their last 1 minute, and he reaches out for the bishop, takes his hand back, tries to evaluate, and then he plays the move now, pawn to e4. This is actually a serious mistake. Pawn captures, and now the pawn has captured. And now white quickly castles here, and now the move pawn to b5. Black decides to be on the offensive side now, and now the move pawn to e5 comes in, attacking the knight now. Pawn captures, still attacking the knight. Knight jumps in now to f5, planning to come to the e3 square, and now the queen comes into e2. Now the move queen to b6 played in less than 10 seconds, and now the rook comes in now to d1. The rook comes in, pawn captures, and now the knight captures, and now both players are actually playing at a very fast pace here. And now the move rook comes in, attacking now. Rook comes into d2, and now another attacker comes into the game. Knight to d4, attacking the queen now, and now the queen is forced to come back to d1. And now the move knight to b5, a very strong move in this position. And here the best move here could be bishop to b4. So many ideas here to play for, and let's see. And also a fork is also being threatened here, attacking the king and the queen as well. So this is almost game over here, and he decides to play the move king a1, and now knight captures, and queen comes into d4, which is a checkmate here. And it's really exciting. Let's see what the other games has to go. Kindly like and subscribe for more videos.